Hey, what's going on, guys? So this is a pretty interesting thing. I just got this package in the mail, and I didn't recognize the sender or anything. It's not a trade. This is actually a knife design that someone created for Border Patrol agents, which is really interesting. And it's really strange timing because I happen to be watching the Border Patrol show that's on Netflix. I forget exactly what it's called, but they're basically showing people getting caught, you know, sneaking in drugs across the border. So this is, like I said, just, you know, impeccable timing because I happen to be binge watching that show lately just because there's nothing else going on. And I most times have it in the background while I'm doing other things. And then this thing showed up. So let's go ahead and read this. Okay, I opened the box. First thing I saw says instructions. Grab black husky wrench. Do you think this is a tool a professional officer should have? So essentially, this is a Husky number 4 something. It was ground down, maybe who knows, a hex wrench or something. And if you look at it, the tip is ground down. So there's a point on the front, and there's 3 notches. There's a notch cut here, here, and here. They're kind of like on different angles. And this is a probing tool that Border Patrol, I guess, border agents, use to probe items. Okay, so it has a T-handle. And you would push this into a package and pull it out. Now, obviously, if there's some kind of narcotic, heroin, cocaine, whatever, powders, weed, whatever happens to be in there not supposed to have, as you're pulling this out, these little notches, you know, they're kind of angle cut, so they create little points that grab things, okay? So let's say you did have a big bag of weed inside of a coffee bag or something. You stick this in there, you pull it out, it's going to grab some of that, and it's going to pull it out with it, okay? So they can look in these grooves and see what's going on. And then obviously if they suspect something, they can test it and see if it's actually narcotics. So it's interesting to see this, okay? So this is a homemade probe tool, but actual border agents have these. This is what they use. At least this is one form of it. There's obviously many other ones. I've seen really long versions of this. But essentially this person created a knife that incorporates a probe tool into it. So here's a letter that came with it. Just want to read this to you real quick. It says, cool channel you got, man, and congratulations on your subscribers. Thank you. Here's something that will help you grow more your channel because it's something that is cool and not commonly seen. Plus, you can create greater content from this type of knives, which I coined Professional Purpose Knives, or PPK for short. The PPK thing, you might want to check in with Walther and see if they're okay with that. But anyway, basically, federal officers have been using that dangerous homemade tool, the Husky Allen wrench, called a probe to extract hidden narcotics in suitcases, backpacks, purses that international travelers try to smuggle into the U.S. Here is your first golden nugget, and we will get to that soon. However, as you can see, this probe is really dangerous because of the design and lack of no cover, no carrier, and no safety. Officers carry it on their duty belts and primary put it next to their magazines. The real danger is that number 1, it might interfere with grabbing a magazine if they need to deploy their guns. Number 2, if they get into a fight, an assailant will grab the probe unknowingly and instantly have a shank in their hands. Number 3, with no cover, officers can easily have accidents. I am guilty of that several times. So out of this need and an arrest involving 3 kilos of cocaine, a man that did not want to go to jail, and a loose probe, I said no more, so the PPK in your hand was created. The Seeker Anti-Narcotics tool. It's the first of its kind to combine a custom blade with an industry-specific tool, the probe. Hope you like it, and just await your honest opinion. We understand this product can be better and are working on it. The critic and review will be of great value. Alright, so then it goes on to basically say how I can use the tool to help grow the channel. So I understand what he's saying. He basically, obviously, as he's presenting this, is that he was a border agent, or currently is, and he thinks this is a bad idea. So he wanted to create a product that was going to work better, and for that, my hat's off to you, because that is how innovation is born. You see a problem, and you resolve the problem, right, with your own solutions. So let's check this out. It's called the Seeker Anti-Narcotics tool, engineered in the USA, made in China. Unfortunately, a lot of things have to be made in China. Oh, here's the brand, by the way, 0300 Pro, made for the front lines. So yeah, I mean, unfortunately, a lot of things are made in China just because they're more affordable. All right, So we have a little pouch here. Again, I'm not sure why he gave me just the soft sides. I don't know if that's to, I don't know, make something more comfortable. I'll have to look into that further. So we have a pretty simple sheath, which obviously has a belt loop on it, so you can put it on your belt. And this looks like a double-sided knife. I mean, the same style you would have with a double-bladed knife. There's a thumb stud, well, dual thumb studs. There actually is a flipper. Does it work? No. But I'm willing to bet if I give it a little wrist, not really. Let's see. There we go. Okay, so you got to give it a good little flick of the wrist to get that to open completely. And I can tell you right off the bat, I mean, it's just because of this handle design. This loops back out. Okay, it doesn't really give you enough real estate. With this particular knife and its quality level and stuff, it's just not smooth enough to really have this much movement and to swing all the way out. I mean, there's knives that have very small flippers on it and they work great because they have, you know, a ball bearing system in the pivot, all kinds of things that are more advanced. This obviously in its, assumable price range would be something that would not have that kind of stuff. So anyway, let's try it real quick though with the thumb studs, which work totally fine. Lockup is pretty good actually. There's no blade play at all. This is a liner lock. Looks like a dual liner lock. So we have a combo edge blade, little run of serrations on the bottom, nice curved blade on there for the plain edge, and there's a swedge cut in the back. Obviously, it's just for design. It's not actually sharpened or anything. You know, holding a knife here, it's really comfortable. You know, because it has such a fat handle, which I will talk about in a little bit, a little later here. But anyway, so we have a knife on one side, all right, so you can use that for all your regular cutting needs. And then when you flip it over, all right, we have the probe tool, okay? So this is a, task-specific tool. So we have the cut on the top, so it easily penetrates into things. And then we have, again, those 3 notches. And you can see those are angle cut, so they create these sharp edges that will grab stuff and pull it out of the hole that you create when you probe something. So I mean, it's a really cool concept. You can see obviously it is, you know, much shorter than the custom probe from Husky here. But I'm sure for, you know, many of the smaller packages it'll work just fine for its purpose. So, and of course it does open and lock, okay, which is nice. You don't want that flopping around. So same thing, liner lock. All right, there's no play at all. Yeah, I mean, it's a specific, you know, tool that's driven to have this purpose of, you know, being a probe. Now, the first thing I could say overall, it's a cheap knife. Like the quality is cheaper. I'd have to actually use it. You know, I try to give every knife a fair shake, but I've literally had thousands of knives in my hand, so I get a pretty decent idea right off the bat. I don't know the blade steel. I'm gonna guess it's 440C in and around there, maybe an AUS 8, maybe not even that. I don't know. I will investigate this more in the future. There is a pocket clip, okay, but as you can see, it is not tapped or drilled for any other position, so we are, well, you know, tip down for the knife anyway, tip up for the probe, right side carry. But obviously with the belt sheath, you can orientate this any direction you want, and then obviously have it on the belt. So overall, I think it's a fantastic idea. I would agree 1000% this just, you know, slipped in your duty belt is not a good idea. You don't want to accidentally poke yourself, accidentally poke someone else. You don't want to arm someone who is about to, you know, do anything they possibly need to do to stay out of jail. People who have been in jail or people who know they're going to jail for life is certainly pretty desperate, and they will absolutely kill themselves or anyone around them, and just having a weapon there, that's not good. I mean, you don't need very much to puncture maybe major organs. You know what I'm saying? This thing could be that long and still be deadly. But the fact that we have like a 6-inch shank, that's not good at all. So I'm totally on board with him. I absolutely believe that for Border Patrol, there should be a dedicated tool. Incorporate it into a knife, fantastic idea. You know, it's not like a high quality, you know, $500 knife or anything by any means, you know. I don't even think it's a $100 knife. I don't know what he's charging for this. But I will say this, okay, in the defense of the knife's quality, if you watch these Border Patrol shows and stuff, you see the knives they actually use. There's 3 knives I see very consistently. I see Smith & Wesson branded knives. Okay, those are all very, very, low quality, cheaper knives. They still cut things. Any sharp blade will cut something. They don't have great edge retention. I'm assuming that when these things get dull, a lot of these guys are just buying new ones. If I had to guess, maybe a couple of them are actually sharpening them. But you see a lot of Smith & Wesson knives. You see a lot of, you know, Kershaw, CRKT combinations. I'll see a ton of the CRKT M16s and variants. Those are all the CRKTs you get from Walmart. You know, those are like, you know, $15 to $25 knives. And you see a lot of very cheap Chinese-made OTFs, like, for example, the Lightning. I've seen at least 2 different people have the Lightning. One time on a border show, I saw someone had a like a Italian picklock stiletto, which was kind of cool, you know. But because our agents are allowed to carry automatic knives, I mean, if I was an agent, I'd have a Microtech or something in my pocket, you know, or a Dalton, or maybe a Benchmade OTF or something, just to be cool, but actually have something that was going to hold an edge. So yeah, I mean, when you watch these guys and they're cutting open a lot of stuff, it's what they do for a living, you know. They probe things, they cut things open, and they have really cheap knives, and they work. You know, that's the whole point, is they work fine. You don't have to have a very expensive knife. You don't have to have a super premium steel to be able to actually cut stuff. It's just the edge retention, as we know, is not great on these cheaper steels and these cheaper knives. So, I mean, yeah, is this going to cut stuff? Sure. I mean, it's very sharp out of the box. Let's see. There's a little card here. Let's try the serrations first. They work fine. A little bit of a rough cut, but they'll get the job done. And the plain edge is nice and sharp. You know, so just because it's a cheaper knife doesn't mean it doesn't work. It's just you have to realize that if you're using this for a profession, specifically Border Patrol, you're cutting and cutting and cutting. Well, you're probably searching a lot and then cutting less, but you know, you want that longevity. So, I mean, as long as you know how to sharpen your knives, it's not a problem. I've always been a fan of cheap knives for that reason alone. You could always sharpen it, you know, and because it's cheap or, you know, more affordable, you can just replace it if something happens. So I'm gonna have to investigate this more and see what they charge for this knife, but I have to say, it's a very niche thing. You know what I mean? I don't know if you're not a Border Patrol agent, and I don't know how many Border Patrol agents there are in America or abroad. I'm sure there's other, obviously there's borders everywhere, right? Different countries. But I don't know how many people are looking for this particular tool. Now I'm trying to think of something else you can use this for besides probing. I mean, if the notches weren't there, you can use it for all kinds of stuff. I mean, even with the notches, you could use this as an ice pick. You can use this, obviously, in self-defense, but when you have the blade, I mean, I guess you can open them both and go, you know, Super Rambo or something on someone. Well, I guess that's not really Rambo, that's Mole Ninja. But I'd rather probably just take the blade out, honestly, for self-defense. But I guess the point is there's other things. If you get creative, there's other things you could do with this probe. But like I said, I mean, this is pretty specific to Border Patrol agents. If you happen to be watching my videos and you're a Border Patrol agent, write down in the comments that you are and let me know what you think of this product. But I think it is super interesting. So anyway, I just wanted to share that with you guys and ask you if you watch these border shows. They're pretty entertaining. People get pretty creative trying to bring drugs into the country. You know what I mean? There's a lot of money there. And people get pretty desperate too, unfortunately. There's a lot of people from different countries that have nothing. You know, they use as drug mules and stuff. And I mean, everything down to birds. I saw one old guy had a bunch of birds in his underwear, you know, because they're getting like, you know, a couple $1,000s each here in America. Just crazy stuff. So anyway, that is all for now. Just wanted to share with you guys. Let me know if you've seen this and what you think of it. It's interesting. So that's all. Hopefully you have a great day, and I will see you tomorrow with a brand new video. Take care.